Welcome to How to Play Ambient Guitar. On today's episode, I'd like to explore a technique that I use to help jumpstart my ambient guitar writing. And that technique is using traditional tunes. In other words, old tunes that are public domain, they're not under copyright, they're free for all to use. The great thing is there are many different types of traditional tunes. If you're here in the US, you might like, for example, old-timey Americana songs from the 1800s. If you're from another country, you might enjoy the traditional music of that country. Give you an example. I was listening to some Syrian traditional music the other day, and it blew my mind. It was awesome. For me, one of the traditions that I really enjoy are old-time traditional Christian hymns. Okay, that's kind of where I come from. You may not come from that. That's cool. But you can see I've got my trusty, rusty, old Presbyterian hymnal. And I use it quite a bit to get ideas for different melodies and tunes that I can eventually turn into ambient guitar pieces. So what I'd like to do right now is just kind of give you a quick demo on how I do that. All right, one tune that I've always loved that's actually in that hymn book that I just showed you is called Be Thou My Vision. It's an old Irish tune, an old Irish melody set to some beautiful words. And let me just play you the melody itself, actually kind of an arrangement that I created for acoustic guitar. And that would be kind of step one. Learn the melody of whatever song you enjoy and kind of want to emulate. Okay, a little sloppy there, but you get a feel for the melody, just kind of mellow, flowing, just a beautiful melody. Now, what can I do with this melody to turn it into an ambient guitar piece, or maybe even just take parts of the melody and use it to inspire me to create a new piece? All right, so first thing I want to do is set up some effects. I'm using the same basic effects chain that I've used for this series, which is the Wampler Ego Compressor, a volume pedal, Morley, the Strymon dig. I did add in the Neunaber Immerse Reverb just for grins. I demoed that recently if you want to kind of check it out. Okay, so let's listen to the different effects. First of all, just the compressor. Okay, just a little extra sustain. Here's what I've got set up on the dig. All right, just kind of a long trailing delay. And then here's what's going on with the Immerse. Okay, typical kind of sound for me if you've listened on this channel. All right, so let's get to work here on taking Be Thou My Vision and turning it into something different. First thing I would suggest when you're approaching a traditional tune is to get your effects chain set up and then just play the melody. So let me go ahead and play the melody here. I'll just play part of it, just kind of plain and simple. Here we go. And I'm going to slow down the tempo a little bit. Okay. Now, what if I slow that way down? What would that sound like? Let's try that. like where that's going. It's pretty plain though. I need some more notes involved here to kind of flesh out the overall chordal structure. So let me do that same kind of phrase with, I'm just going to use the root notes of each chord. So that would be, I'm capoed on the 2nd fret, so that would be E, A, and B. So here we go. Okay, that's not bad either. That's kind of cool. Now, what if I spread the kind of the tonal range, like, you know, it's all in the kind of in the low end here, right? So what if I took that melody up an octave? Let's see what happens there. Ooh, I like that. So I've got a little more separation between notes. It's not so muddy. Although sometimes mud is good. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So you can kind of play with the balance there of the intervals of your notes. So wide intervals, close intervals, kind of, you know, vary it a little bit. You can kind of see where things are going here with this melody. So as I kind of flesh it out, what else could I do with this? I've got just the melody with my, you know, echo and delay. Okay, and I'm also taking the opportunity to spread out the intervals. Now, what if I played some variations on the melody? Okay, so I'm going to use this melody as inspiration, and for me, I'm very improvisational in my playing, so I'm going to kind of keep that melody rolling around in my brain, but I'm going to vary it and play something a little bit different. So let me give you an example of some things that I might do if I were improvising against this song. You can kind of hear the melody in there, you know, little motifs from the original melody, but I've changed things up. So that's pretty cool too. So we've got, you know, playing the melody as is at different tempos. Doesn't have to be the original tempo. It could be slower, could be faster. We've got extending intervals, right, to widen out the tone. We've got playing around with variations on the melody. Now, what if we also did some variations on the chord progression? So I'm going to turn off the effects for a minute. So the basic chord progression of Be Thou My Vision is da 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 da. So it's basically a 3-chord progression, right? So in this case, since I'm in the key of E, capoed on the 2nd fret with a partial capo, by the way, it's E, A, and B. Nothing too crazy. But what if I added in some variations to the chord progression? So let's try that. So I did some pretty significant variations on the melody there, but I also did some significant variations on the chord progression itself. However, if you compare it to the original, it still has that same kind of feel, that flowing feel. So I haven't deviated from kind of what I would call the spirit of the song. So those are just some quick ideas for some ways that you can take a traditional tune, use it as inspiration, and create your own beautiful ambient guitar tune out of it. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. I've got ambient guitar related content coming every week. And if you're also interested in Chords of Orion music, you can check that out right here, wherever that little card shows up. And as always, I'll see all of you on the next video.